It's been one whole week from the last episode from our series based on the new hero concepts. And this one, mates, is pretty darn awesome. Welcome, mates, I'm Bloodthirsty Lord, but you can call me Lordy, and today we are back on Paragon once again. There's been more Mortgage gameplay in the background of me going ham, and obviously we might do something with that gameplay in the future to pretty much spice it up, because there's a lot of things that happened in that gameplay which were just bloody amazing and just astonishing in the actual footage, but that's something for another video. Within this video, we're going to be talking about the new hero concept, Achilles. But before we do that, mates, if you want to submit your own new hero concepts to the channel so you can have a chance to be featured in one of our videos for this series, all you have to do is create it through Reddit or the Paragon forums, then proceed to send that link towards me through a tweet on Twitter at BTLLords. The link or the actual username will appear right now, and the link will be in the description below of my Twitter, so you can just send it there straight away. And that's how I'm going to know what your new hero concept is, so you have a chance to be featured in one of the next videos. Obviously, the more in depth you go with the feature or the idea of that new hero concept, and if it's more insane mechanics, there's a great chance of it appearing on the channel. Hint, hint. And also, mates, how can I forget this? We've all been celebrating today. Maybe you guys are starting right now because obviously time zone differences, but I'll celebrate for the whole day Easter, mates. So happy Easter to all you mates that do celebrate that day. If not, and I hope you have one amazing day no matter what. So let's get back on track. Episode 6 of the new hero concepts, Achilles. This is going to be pretty insane. Let's get into it as quick as possible. You should be able to see two images on your screen right now showcasing the character and how it's supposed to be visioned by the person that created it, and it looks pretty darn awesome. Achilles, he pretty much looks like the exact same thing as you could expect from history, but I feel like this character has the abilities and some of the other stuff that is presented in that person or unique historical character. Then when it comes to the lore, it's kind of funny because it doesn't really connect to it and it gets this different vibe, but we're going to get into that quite soon. But the way it looks pretty darn awesome. It reminds me of Lawbringer from For Honor, because I've played For Honor quite a bit, and this guy does look like Lawbringer, especially the headpiece of this character. So let's move on to his lore, which is pretty much like a quick lore tidbit of the character. And the guy that created the character does say Achilles does not connect to the actual Achilles. So that's kind of awkward. Just the name has been used. That just sounds like copyright. But let's keep moving on, and let's move on to the lore that he has created for this character. Achilles was once a great leader. He led his army to victory, conquering over thousands of foes, until one army so great and powerful stood in his way. The once great army was reduced to hundreds. As the last few fell, he knew that he most honored their sacrifice. They would not die in vain. He took up his spear and blade, once iron and powerful, now blessed by the gods and the legendary. This was not the end of him. Okay, that is his lore. Really interesting. It's building up that story, and maybe at the very end you can say that he fights for the idea of being Paragon, because obviously being that ideal hero or that just bloody broken hero in Paragon, that was pretty sick. And obviously this character does give me the vibe of the movie 300. I don't know why, I'm getting that massive vibe out of it, because he just remembers all the sacrifice and all the people that fell, that was also his teammates or his friendly companions that were also killed by the enemies, and he's like that last survivor. That's what it feels like. And then he's got this like God of War twist, now blessed by the gods and the legendary. That gives me that God of War twist, and it's pretty cool. I don't know why, I really like it. That's maybe why I picked it, but that lore tidbit, really interesting. Now you want to move on to the abilities, and they get even better, but they also connect to another hero that I can think of that I played in another MOBA, which is going to be interesting to talk about. Sadly, it doesn't look like we have any affinities mentioned here, but if I was to mention some affinities for this guy's kit, I think Fury and Order, the dual affinities, would be kind of interesting on him. And it would fit his like playstyle or his lore, because obviously he's going to be some type of vicious character, followed up by the idea of him having order because he's obviously part of the army and all those ideas there, which I really like. I think Fury and Order is really good in this character if he wants to pick that as the affinities for this character that he's created. So his basic attack, which is obviously the left mouse button, is Ferocious Stab. Achilles stabs an enemy, dealing damage. Damage 56, cooldown 1.1. This is like the basic stats, and I'm guessing he's done all the scaling. Yes, he has done all the scaling on each ability as well. That's pretty cool. So let's move on to the primary ability, Spear Hurl. Achilles throws his spear at an enemy. This spear locks on and slows down the target. Damage 55, 100, 120, 200. That is if you put the points into the actual ability. Slow, minus 100 for 2 seconds, minus 125 for 2 seconds, minus 140 for 2 seconds, minus 155 movement for 2 seconds. That is the ability to slow down the character for a certain time. If you put extra points to that, that's the upgrades. Mana cost 50, 75, 85, 100 cooldown, 8, 7.5, 7, and 6.5. This ability does remind me of the hero Pantheon from League of Legends. He has that lock-on spear ability that does insane amount of damage and poke, but it doesn't have a slow. This has a slow, which is obviously a very unique mechanic, because any hero that has some type of CC becomes really strong straight away. But it has to be really like hard CC. If you played Grux in Paragon, if you played Steel, Lieutenant Balka, those heroes shine quite a bit compared to other heroes, or even Narbash. Narbash is one strong hero, and people underestimate him when he comes into a team comp or a fight, but he does have a stun ability and a massive knocker plus slows. Disgusting, mates. So if any hero that does have that ability right now, that is how the meta is, and obviously if you have any type of strong CC, you'll be able to win nearly every fight and every game that you play with that character. In Achilles' case, he's pretty much going to have this constant poke mechanic because of the low mana usage, but the high damage you're able to get out of this as well. Or that constant damage, to be honest, plus that slow effect. That slow effect is going to be really good if you're ganking, if you're playing this character in the jungle, or if you're playing in the off lane, or even mid lane. You can just slow down that enemy hero so your teammates can jump him, or if your teammates can help and gank your lane, you can slow them and they can just jump him. Easy combo right there. So yes, this will be used as a constant poke mechanic in my opinion. Now let's move on to his secondary ability, that is called Lunge. Achilles lunge his foot out a Spartan kick the selected target, stunning enemies but knocking back up to 3 minions in a line if casted on them. Okay, this is interesting. It's maybe not worded the best, but it doesn't matter. The mechanic is still there. I'm not exactly sure if this ability is a dash ability, but we're just going to take that into account that it's a dash in this case, just because I feel like that's more important. So if he's able to dash towards that enemy, he kicks that enemy or that selected target, stunning them, but also knocking it back up to 3 minions in a line if casted on them. So they can obviously get knocked back and pushed away while also being stunned. I think that's what he's trying to go for. I think. I'm not exactly sure, but I feel like that's what he's trying to go for. Damage 75, 80, 90, 100, stun 1, 1.4, 1.6, 1.8, mana 60, 70, 80, 90, cooldown 12, 11, 10, 9. Reasonable cooldowns for this abilities and obviously the character itself. Damage kind of low, I think. Oh, but the next ability makes up for the damage. Honestly, yeah, the next ability and also the ultimate makes up for the damage. So that ability is the lowest damage output that he's going to have. Not at level 1, but I think towards the end game it's the lowest damage. But it's useful. It has its uses. Great CC, very hard CC. That's going to make him very useful within jungle or within any other lane. That's really interesting. So let's move on to his alternate ability, which is called Gash. Achilles whips out his Spartan sword, slashing out really close in front of him, doing massive damage. So I'm guessing this is going to have some type of cone shape in front of the character when he takes out his sword and does his slash mechanic, doing massive damage pretty much up close and personal. So I'm guessing you could say it's like a Grux pull, that type of cone shape, and he's doing the damage like that. But Grux pull is a lot more like, I think, medium range, but you get the idea. That, but a little bit shorter from that range. That is how he's going to dose his damage up close and personal. Damage 100, 160, 200, and 255. That's a lot. Mana 25, 40, 60, 80. Cooldown 4 seconds at all levels. Really great. So this ability, or this actual kit is really strong. You got that poke and then obviously that up close personal damage they have to do. But it's there. It's really interesting. I like the damage output now. Yeah, it's really good. Okay, let's move on to the ultimate. The badass ultimate. Ready, aim, and fire. Achilles readies his men. Golden spirits are summoned and fire arrows into a massive area doing intense damage. It's pretty much like the Sparrow rain of arrows, but 4 times the range and super deadly. I'm guessing the range or the area effect that he's talking about, that's increased. The damage for this ability is 350 over 2 seconds, 450 over 2 seconds, and 650 damage over 2 seconds. Mana 100, 150, 160, cooldown 55, 45, and 40, and that sounds reasonable with all the monolith cooldowns that we have now with all the characters that happened when the monolith update was out and all the cooldowns of every hero was reduced. This fits in pretty well, and that completes all the new hero information about this concept of Achilles. Really interesting, really enjoyable to read about and talk about, and if I was to place this character into a role, I think it's going to be really useful within the offlane jungle especially. But also a unique lane that you can put this character in is in the mid lane. He just sounds like it's going to be really interesting doing that AoE damage. I'm guessing that's going to have some type of distance of casting it, or maybe in a global ulti. That would be pretty interesting in my opinion to see that. The character itself, really bloody amazing affinities. I wish he places them as Fury in order because it fits in really well with the character. The lore is unique, that's for sure, but I don't think it connects truly to Paragon. But we obviously can change that in the future. That's nothing to say, but I like the idea of the lore. It's building up to that connection to Paragon. And obviously at the very end, maybe he fights to be a greater person. Or he can fight for the role of being Paragon in Paragon the game, which is pretty sick. Either way, I'm happy to be able to shine the light on this new hero concept in our episode 6 of this series. And also, the hero being able to constantly poke, constantly do damage, and be a pain in the ass is bloody amazing. Something I want to see more of within Paragon. That is obviously fitting to the more aggressive kits that just abuse in lane and win game. That type of character, and this character does fall into that type of playstyle. But mates, as always, I want to know your thoughts on this video. What do you think about the new hero concept? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? And what can he improve on with the concept itself? Leave your opinions and thoughts in the comment section down below, because we're always up for discussion. So mates, if you did enjoy this video, show your support by smashing that bloody like button. Let's try to get 200 likes on this video. If you guys want to see more Paragon gaming content, Paragon gaming news, and gaming content in general on my channel, all you have to do is share this with your friends and hit the subscribe button to become a mate today. And also, mates, you can turn on notifications by hitting that little bell button next to the subscribe button to become one of the first mates on the channel up to date when our content does come live when we upload it. Also, if you want to support the channel even more, you can do so by donating to the channel through Patreon, which you'll be able to use to help with upgrading our equipment, our gaming equipment, and pretty much producing better quality videos every day. That is the end goal. Well, you also have the chance to receive some awesome goodies and rewards from there as well. And that is all for this video. Oh, time's good, but don't you worry, we're back very soon. Hang tight, boys, because you ain't seen nothing yet. The new lore for this hero, Achilles, the beholder, the possessor of the almighty spear, is able to use it to stab between your butt cheeks. Yes, we said that.